Hello, everyone. Hello, my name is Chloe Caron. I'm a PCC ICF certified coach. What is ICF? It's International Coaching Federation. And I have the great pleasure to tell you that I have achieved the PCC level, which is fantastic. Working on my MCC level, actually. Welcome to everybody on this live. We are streaming live today from YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I'm actually want to make sure that we are live on Instagram. Let me just make sure that we are. Mhm. Yes, I think we are. Hold on a second. And today on our topic is actually communicating with impact. Communicating with impact. I'm curious, why are you here? Welcome for those who are just joining. I'll be curious to know your intention. Why are you here? What's your motivation? I know my motivation. I can tell you that. I know my motivation. I was actually coaching this morning a leader that I work with, and we were talking about his plan to communicate something really important, strategically important for him. And we went through what we're going to go through today in the half hour that we have. And he told me, Chloe, you need to communicate this with passion because people will get so much out of this session. I cannot express that enough. So that's my motivation, is that I can help you remove any barriers that stop you from having the impact that you want to have when you communicate. So welcome for those who are just joining. My name is Chloe Caron. I'm a ICF, International Coaching PCC coach. I'm a business owner. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a friend, obviously. And I work with leaders. I work with leaders to remove barriers, as I was saying, so that you can express your full potential. You can have the impact that you want to have individually in your life, on your team, in your organization, in the world that we live in. Just be the positive impact that you want to be. I'll ask a couple of things of you because I want to make this as interactive as possible. Please write in the chat, what is your motivation? What is your motivation for being here? What's kind of the thing that stops you from having the impact that you want to have in your communication? When and how would you like to communicate with impact? What's kind of the best version of yourself when you're communicating? What are you looking to create? Write that in the chat. And also throughout our time together, so that I can stay pertinent in this environment, in this social media environment, click like, thumbs up, a heart, whatever you have, but just make an action to notice, to notify that we're here. And that keeps me pertinent, and it keeps me in check with what you want. And it says, please please keep on doing those lives because they're pertinent. Okay, so write in the chat, what's stopping you and why do you want to communicate with impact? What's your context? Okay, so can you hear me all? Just make a sign so that we're good and that I know you're here. That would be fantastic. Okay, so communicating with impact, just before we start, please go on our website. You get a free communication and guide on my website, and go on all of our platforms and just follow us. That's really great because you get the invitations, you get the documents, you get the information in advance. You make sure that you get all the information that you need. Okay, what is in today? So we're understanding communication pitfalls, really understanding what makes us have positive communication, impactful communication, and what is your pitfall. So recognizing the pitfall, but also any pitfalls that you might have. We're going to look at Natalie's story, and you will want to stay until the end because that is when I will share my 4 tips for communicating with impact, and we might do a bit of coaching. So I see Alina is here. So nice to see you. And Denise, growing my team. So Denise says, growing my team and want to communicate to the best of my abilities. So as you're growing your team, obviously communication becomes more and more and more important, and thinking in different ways to communicate. So I got you, Denise. We're gonna talk about that. And Alina, hi, thank you for this session. So again, go click love, heart, and make sure that this stays pertinent. I am here as I would like to ensure I deliver the message across as I intend. So important. Intention, delivery, impact. Love it. I would like to understand the understanding of my message to be perceived and matched with the idea and the intention. Love it. Angela, I'm always worried about how the receiver interprets my message. Okay, so Angela, make sure to kind of catch me when I talk about the 4 tips, because I want to make sure to address your concern about the receiver. So obviously in communicating, there's always 2 parties, to your point. There's the communicator, there's the receiver. We control 100% of us. We don't control the other person. That being said, being conscious, aware, putting ourselves in their shoes is really, really important, obviously. So let's make sure that we keep that in mind. So, and you will not leave this session together without a commitment, a personal commitment, and obviously next steps. Before we start even to talk about anything in terms of communication, I want to invite you to put yourself in the right mindset. The right mindset is an empowered mindset where you feel like you own your power, not over someone, not under someone, but just you own your power. And so you'll see the X's and the Y, and at the top of it, you'll see I'm plus, so I'm okay. Down, you'll see I'm not okay. On the left, you'll see you're okay and you're not okay. These 4 quadrants are the travel we make in any given day, in any given situation. We travel within these 4 quadrants. Let me put them all so that we can have a better idea of what that creates. When I feel that I'm okay and I feel that you're okay, that's the healthy adult to adult mindset where I know that you have positive intention. I know I have positive intention, and we can create together a positive outcome from our conversation. And before we communicate, especially when it's difficult, especially when I have a message to convey, especially when I feel that I could get into my own head and fall into the trap of feeling that I don't have enough competencies, or I don't have the right to speak, or someone else knows more than I, being in the right mindset is absolutely what you need to do first. And what allows us to be in that healthy space, and I'll cover quickly the other spaces, is whatever you need to put you there. I'll give you an example. Breathing. Just slowing down and just anchoring yourself in the message and the intention, to Alina's point. Your intention. So anchoring yourself in your intention, anchoring yourself in the win-win you're trying to create, in the impact you're looking to have. So go for a walk. I just did some exercises. I took my bell and I did some squats just so that I could get the fluids going and I could have the right energy for you, to serve you, because I have an important message to deliver and I want to make sure I delivered it today. So whatever you need to be in that space of healthy, and that quadrant, that whole model Harris did, is just a reflection of your own perception. It doesn't have to do with the receiver. The receiver might be in a completely different quadrant, but as long as you control what you control, which is putting yourself in the healthy mindset, you will have a much better chance of having a positive impact in communicating with them. The other 3 places in the quadrant are suboptimal. Obviously, you might think you are using your power over someone, and that happens in a situation where we think we're right, when we think we have the right posture, the right mindset, the right information. And so we want to make sure that we kind of control the conversation. On the other side, the helpless is where we feel we are more of a victim in our head, where we don't have all the information. They might know more. And so we might not use our power to the fullest to be fully present in that conversation. And when we're hopeless, that's when we think nothing works and there's really nowhere to go from there. Just notice, where are you when you're trying to communicate in an important situation? You might be with your boss, you might be at the leadership table, you might be with your team. Write in the chat, what are those situations where you want to communicate and have even more impact? Those situations, why you're here today and you're saying, yeah, I really want. So when you talk, Denise, about your team, tell me more about that. Is it in a team meeting? Is it presenting in front of a bigger group? You know what I mean? Like, write in the chat, what are the situations where you feel you want to have a bigger impact? Okay. So the first thing to put yourself in the right mindset is the perfect mindset, the adult to adult, the healthy mindset. In order to have, and that's another pitfall where people don't understand, they don't notice, they perhaps don't know about this, but people have different ways of receiving the information. Some are very analytical. So 1 + 1 = 2 for them. They want to see things in sequence. They want to know if it's black, if it's white. Grays are not so great. And so they want to understand things like that. So the more someone can communicate in the fashion that the receiver, back to the receiver, is open to, the bigger the impact. Obviously, the bigger the impact you will get. The second style is amiable. So that's not who they are, it's how they communicate. You know what I mean? So that we really need to keep that in mind. That's how they prefer to receive the information and to provide the information. So the amiable, you see that they want to create a supportive environment. They want to think about how the people will receive the information, how this will have an impact on the teams and whatnot. Okay, so they're really concerned about others. They don't want to frustrate you, so they might not provide you with the exact feedback you're looking for in the moment unless they feel safe and unless it's focused on others. Drivers, so the social style, the communication style driver is direct, focused on results, on achieving a goal. And so the more direct you will be, the better. So if you're starting with a driver to say, here are the 10 steps I've taken to achieve what we're looking for, you will lose them. If you focus on, okay, we're supposed to deliver ABC on the 19th. Here's what we've been doing. We're going to get there. Okay. Just want to make sure I grasp what you're saying. So Alina said, I would like to improve communication with leaders as well as business owners. So, okay, you're leaders and business owners, which most of them, and I'm really generalizing here, but are drivers. So they're really focused on results, Alina. So make sure that you keep that in mind unless you identify otherwise. Okay. Denise, one-on-one meetings, staying positive, but confronting challenges. So being honest, open, yet not being afraid of addressing the elephant in the room sometimes, or the concerns for performing. Did I get you? Did I get this right, Denise? I hope I did. So we've talked about analytical, amiable, driver, expressive. The expressive is, if we were to compare that with the analytical, 1 + 1 does not always equals 2 for the expressive, meaning they want to create, they want to think out loud, they think in colorful, in colors, they think outside of the box, they like to explore. Okay, so sometimes 1 + 1 = 3. So keeping that in mind, I want to invite you to take a minute and think about the people around you with whom you want to have impactful communication. Okay. Think about the people on your team. Think about the people, your business owners. Think about your leaders. Think about your clients, your husband, your wives, your children. Think about the people around you with whom you want to improve your communication, and write down in the chat, what is their communication styles in your mind. Obviously, this is not completely scientific. This is only based on what I've told you, but still, you know what I'm talking about. You know if they're in one of these quadrants. Tell me who they are so I can help you navigate that as we move forward. And if you're just joining, I see many people are just joining. I love it. Click heart, thumbs up in your social media. You might be on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Just thumbs up and say you like this, because that keeps me pertinent. It keeps me doing lives and give you free content and free coaching and free perspective, and improve the impact that you have ultimately, and that we all have. So here is how to adapt, okay? And I'll go through this quickly, because then we're gonna start thinking about how we can really have an impact with these people, with the people around us, be it our teams, be it our leaders and our business owners, for example. So this is how to adapt to different social and communication styles. I use social styles, communication styles, they're the same, okay? Communication styles. So when talking with a driver who will be a bit more autocratic, when talking, when a bit nervous, especially, you want to focus on results. You want to focus on deadlines and focus. With an expressive who might attack under pressure because they feel like they're not being heard, or the ideas are not being explored, listen without any judgment, accept what is being said, and be willing to change direction, but keeping your destination in mind, and explore with them. Be willing to play and explore with them. With the amiable, under stress, what they will do is that they will consent. They will kind of retrieve and say, yes, yes, yes. You want, obviously, to keep them in the game and make sure that they bring you the value that they can, okay? And then we talk about the analytical, they avoid. You want to make sure to stay on track with the data, Okay, so how do we have maximum impact? How do I quickly identify, Corina? Hey, Corina, Coco, hi, how are you? How do I quickly identify the type of communication when meeting a new client, business partner? Love it. Okay, so here's how. If they talk about how and what, you know they're analytical. If they talk about the who and how, you know they're amiable. If they talk about how and when, they're drivers. And if they talk about the what and the who, they are expressive. So listen to the words they use. And they might not say what, but they'll talk about the what. They'll talk about the people. They'll talk about the deliverable. They'll talk about what are we talking about and how it's going to happen. So by listening to those words, you'll know, and then you'll have a guess, and then that guess will be confirmed as you continue talking to them. So raise your hand if you know Natalie. Okay, well, write in the chat if you know Natalie. Natalie is a mid-level manager in a multinational corporation. She manages in different locations, diverse team spread, and she's very competent. She knows she's competent, but for whatever reason, she cannot communicate effectively, either with her team or stakeholders. I have a feeling you know her. I have a feeling you know Natalie. So if you don't mind, just say yes if you know in the chat. Say yes if you know Natalie, and if you align with her. And as you do that, for those who are just joining, first of all, welcome. I'm Chloe Caron. I'm an ICF, International Coaching Federation, PCC coach. I've been doing that a long time. We are actually celebrating our 10th year at O2 Coaching this year. I've launched it in 2014. It's now 2024, so it'll be 10 years. So write in the chat if you know who she is, Natalie. And here's her struggles in communication, okay? 4 struggles. They might be expressed differently, but yeah. Alina says, I don't know her, but I'm aligned with her. That's what I meant. Yes, you resonate with her. But more importantly, do you resonate with her struggles? Okay, her struggles. She has difficulties commanding attention. She has difficulties because sometimes she will silence her perspective, her voice. She will not have her voice heard because there might be higher voice and higher noise around her, and she'll kind of let go and she'll say, not too sure I'm going to voice my opinion here. She faces unrecognized contribution because she might not express her contribution, or she might not create the link between what she's done and her contribution. We're going to get to that in a second. Stay put, because that's what you'll want to hear about in a second, okay? And she has limited visibility because she doesn't self-promote. She doesn't express how she's done what she's done, why she's done it, and so forth and so on. So tell me, so Stéphanie Beauregard, you say yes, and she is constantly underestimated as a consequence. Yes, that's exactly it. She's underestimated. She's underused, meaning she's capable of so much more, but because we don't know about her perspective or what she's done or what her team has done, we might not use her in the most positive way. We might not tap into her competencies and what she can deliver as much because of that. Which one, two, three, four, imagine there's number beside, which one do you resonate with the most in those struggles? Which one? To command attention, you silence your voice, your contribution is unrecognized, or you have a limited visibility. Which one do you connect with the most, or is your own struggle? Coco, tell me if my question, if your question earlier was answered with how do you quickly know what their communication style is. Tell me if I need to say more on that, okay? So again, click, love it, thumbs up if you want to keep me pertinent in this environment. Okay, so we've talked about empowering mindset. That's step number one, okay? Step number one, you have to be in the right mindset, or else your communication will not be optimal. Doesn't mean you won't have impact. It just means you won't have as much impact. It won't be as optimal. Communication style, who is my audience? What do they want to hear? How do they want to hear it? What is their concern? How can I adapt my message? Here's the slide you want. Yeah, Alina, so you silence your voice. So let's make sure that you do not silence your voice, that you are strong in your voice, and that you know how to communicate it. And this slide, if there's any slide that you remember from our conversation today, that's the slide. Okay, this is the slide. It seems, and I'll tell you this, it seems very, very simple, but 2 out of these 4 are almost never done. With all the hundreds and thousands of leaders that I work with, they only focus on 2 of these 4. But the 4 of them, all 4 of them are super, super, super important. We talked about intention earlier on. I think Alina was mentioning that. Intention. Know your intention. So as you're about to communicate, I would say as you're about to do something, so all the time be aware of why you do what you do. So what's the intention? And it's a bit different than the second step, which is sharing your objective. So when you're communicating someone, just start with your intention. That's what I did this morning when I started. I said, I want to impact your life in a way that removes barriers for you to communicate and have the impact that you want to have. Then I went through the objectives of our session, which is different. The objectives serves your intention. They serve your intention. So what are we going to achieve, or what did you want to achieve, is sharing your objectives. The third one is, okay, you've taken action. What are they? What did you do? Or what did you have your team do? Or how did you influence or inspire someone, the group, the stakeholders to do the actions that they took? What were the actions? And this is where often people do not spend enough time thinking about it, is what was the impact that you were looking to have with your intention that you now can do the bridge between all that you did that got to this intention and this impact. So it's not enough to say we did this. And that is really important, because think about how you communicate with your boss, with your leaders, or even with your team or your teammates. We often talk about the doing. Oh, we did this, we did this, we did this. But how does this action relates to what you had in mind in terms of the intention, the impact that you wanted to have? What was the objective? And what were the actions that were taken, and what was the impact? I'll give you a very specific example, okay? And if you like this, please mention it in whatever social media you're on, because that keeps me pertinent and that tells me you want to have more of these every month, every 2 weeks. Very pertinent example. This morning, as I was mentioning, I was coaching a leader. We are working with this leader to help him be a better leader coach. So moving away from being a total expert, and I'll use strong words, but dictating what actions should his team do, to becoming a leader coach, which is igniting that from his team. So it seems very simple, but what he was working on is having his team co-own his meeting, their meeting. Okay, so we had talked about that. He has put in place all the actions, and we'll talk about that, to create that. So his intention was co-ownership of the meeting, of the leadership of the team with the rest of his direct reports. Objective was, in the meeting, making sure that they are co-presenter, that they identify the agenda, that they own topics, that they intervene, that they communicate, they share their best practices. So the objectives was full participation from the team. His action, here are the actions that he's taken. So 5 meetings were left. He has 10 people on his team, 5 junior, 5 more senior. He did a duo, junior, senior, owning 1 meeting. So 5 duos owning each a meeting until the end of the fiscal year for him. These are the actions. So far, it's great. It's all fun and exciting. But what was the impact of all of this? And this morning we were talking about how to communicate all of that to the rest of his peers, his leaders, and the leaders' leaders, so that ultimately we could create a coaching culture, and his role in creating that coaching culture. So see how it's important to be able to navigate at a higher level and go back to really practical stuff, which is, what are the actions that you're taking? But then again, being able to go back to the intention, which is, okay, we're creating a coaching culture. We're creating co-responsibility of our people, of the leadership of the team. And the impact was exactly that. The impact was high presence to his team meetings, a 10 out of 10 presence on a how do you call those activity, a volunteering activity, where last year he had 5 out of 10. This year, which is obviously not mandatory, you can go if you want to, this year he had 10 people out of 10 show up. He could go on vacation, because without looking at his email, because his people were owning their business for a week, for a full week, without having him intervene. And there's multiple more impact. But see how important it is for you to go from saying your intention, stating the objective, the actions, and the impact. You do all of that in adapting, obviously, to the social communication style of the person you're talking to. But sometimes, most of the time, I see leaders not going through thinking about all of these 4 steps, when it is the only way to have someone else understanding what you have in your head to the level that you do and understanding why they should care, why they should care about what you're saying, about you, what you're saying. So, Alina, to your point of having your voice silenced, if you know what's your intention and you're really anchored in that intention, you know your objectives, you know your actions, and you know the impact, it'll be easier for you to feel like you've got something concrete to share. It'll be easier to self-reflect on the value of what you're bringing and noticing, yeah, that's really valuable. Look at the impact it had, and therefore I will not silence my voice. What are your questions as I'm going up? Because I want to make sure we were talking about the receiver. So Angela, are you still here? Angela, you were talking about the receiver. Tell me, what's the connection you're doing between the receiver and what we're talking about? Tell me in the chat what is resonating with you. And it's not only Angela, but all of you. What's resonating with you? What do you want us to explore just a tiny bit more as we're going to the end of our time together? I want to make sure you have what you need to commit, that you have what you need to commit yourself. So as you're writing in the chat and as you're doing thumbs up and hearts to this session, what's your big next opportunity to communicate with impact? And I know all our opportunities are important and we want to communicate with impact always, obviously. Andréane, yeah, the example is wonderful, good, cool. And I've got multiple more examples, but at least you know the mechanics of it. So I know all opportunities are important, but there are those that are even more important. You have a team meeting, you have a one-on-one where you want to address the challenges. So I want to make sure that I answer your concern, Denise. So with the example that I've given you, the mechanic with that is that it's exactly that, providing feedback in addressing the challenges is you talk about the intention, what is being done, and what's the impact. So it's the same mechanics when you're providing feedback and you want to address a challenging situation. So we need to deliver this. That's the intention behind it. We can't, for whatever reason, there's this stopping that, there's this that stops us from delivering. Here's the impact and here's what I need. So when you're raising a challenge, I would say, here's what I need to make sure that we can move forward with even more impact. So identify your next communication opportunity. Thank you, Denise. Love it. Love it. Fantastic. So do not leave without doing a thumbs up or a heart. And do not leave without identifying your next opportunity of communicating with impact, and think about what will you do differently? Like, how will you prepare yourself based on our 4 steps? How will you prepare yourself differently so that you can maximize your impact? Maximize your impact. Okay. Want to make sure improving the process within my role. I've been provided to represent Quebec, and I want to ensure I deliver the message in a construct. So this is serious, Alina. This is serious. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Wonderful. Better understanding. Yes. And obviously, you know where to find me if you need anything. You want to chat, you want to brainstorm a couple of ideas, you know where to find me. Go on my website, send us an email, and we'll definitely answer you and be there for you. Next time we chat is April 8th, Crucial Conversations, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Send us your concerns, your questions, any topic you want us to address. We're here to serve. Obviously, this is for you. We do this for you. I do this for you. I'm here for you. Denise, next opportunity will be team meeting next week, okay? I will use these ideas of intention and objective. Yes, and as a leader, and that'll be a topic for next time, you can never focus too much on the why we're doing what we're doing. Why are we doing this? What's the context? What's the intention? What's the vision? Why are we doing what we're doing? With a strong why, people will achieve a lot. Okay. It's lunchtime for most of you, so I want to make sure you've got time to rest and restore. If you need anything, again, we're here. Please feel free. Go do a thumbs up, a heart. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Love you guys. Seeing you soon.